This is Mrs. Young. Today we're going to talk about the best way to read an article for class. Now I know all know how to read, and I know you know how to look at articles for classes, but there's some things that I've noticed lately that people are doing, and I'm going to try and make things a little bit easier for you. So one of the first things we do when we read an article is that we have to access our prior knowledge, which means we've got to think about what we already know about and then try and connect the article to what we already know. One of the best places to do that is starting with the headline. We often don't read the headlines of an article, but this one's really important and helps us start accessing that prior knowledge, thinking about what we already know and making connections in our brain. So it's called See the Alaska Wildlife Refuge Targeted for Drilling by Tax Plan. And so first of all, we have to start thinking, okay, Alaska, what's Alaska like? Alaska's cold, it's snowy. Alaska wildlife, what are we thinking? We're thinking polar bears, seals, other things like that, maybe. And so we start connecting with what we already know. You should be getting pictures in your brain now, thinking about what the Alaskan wildlife looks like. Then if we go into targeted for drilling, what kind of drilling would they be doing in the Alaskan Wildlife Refuge area? Well, probably oil drilling is what they're going to be doing. So we're thinking about what is oil drilling like? What would we do with oil drilling and what would it look like in the Alaska wildlife? And then we've got that last part that says by the tax plan. So we want to start thinking about all those different things, and that's really going to help us get ready and get our brain ready for reading. The next thing we're going to look at is that sentence underneath the headline that says a controversial provision in a major bill may have significant impact on wildlife. So now we know it's something that's controversial, and we want to start thinking about, okay, what would be controversial? What would that be? Now this article is kind of cool because it talks about the wildlife refuge, and it shows you some images of animals that are in the Alaskan wildlife. So these are musk oxen. I don't even know what musk oxen are, but they kind of look like a cow, buffalo kind of thing. I'm starting to think about what the characteristics of that would be. We've got porcupine caribou, so those are kind of like deer. Again, I'm trying to make those connections, and we can continue on through that. So now we've got in our head, okay, we can see what it looks like from those images, and even if you don't have those images, you can still think about what that looks like. And then we're going to start looking at the article. Now, a lot of you don't read the first part of the article, the first paragraph. You kind of skip to the middle and you see if there's anything good there for you. That first paragraph is really crucial because just like when you write your own essay and you have the first paragraph, and at the end of the first paragraph is your thesis statement, that one statement that tells you what the whole paper's about, it's the same thing with an article that you're reading for class. That first paragraph is going to tell you, kind of summarize everything for you, and then tell you what the important part is. So if we look at that first paragraph, and I'm going to go to the end of the first paragraph, it talks about a proposal to allow drilling for oil in Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. And so again, that's telling us this is exactly what it's going to be about. So then I'm going to read the next paragraph. And when I read the next paragraph, I want to think about, okay, I'm done reading the paragraph. What's the most important word or phrase that's in there? What's a word or a phrase that could summarize it for me? I don't want to pull out exactly sentences that are in the paragraph, because then that's just going to lead to plagiarism at some point or me copying somebody else's words. But I just want to summarize those just in a word or two in my own words. Now, if you're taking notes on this because you need to use it for an assignment, I would just jot down those one or two words or phrases, and that's going to help you remember what that part was about. And we're going to continue doing that. We're going to do that for this next paragraph and continue on then, all the way through until the end. Now, I do want to go up because this talks about a tax plan, and so I do want to mention one quick thing here. There are a lot of different tax plans, and so we need to make sure that this is a current thing that we're talking about. So right there, we've got the date where it says December 2nd, 2017. So we know that that's going to be relatively current for us. Sometimes you can find the date of publication all the way down at the bottom, but it's important to realize, am I looking at something that happened recently, or is it something that happened 5 years ago? And we've got to think about that. So we continue reading. Always make sure you read each paragraph thoroughly, because there might be something in there that is really helpful to you. And then we make sure we read the last paragraph too, because that's going to summarize everything for us. Finally, I do want to show you that this is nice because it's got the authors listed. So it's got somebody that you can follow, that you know who they are, you know who the author is, and that's something that you want to check on as well. So I hope this helps you read the article a little bit easier. You can use this for all of your classes, no matter the content area. It's just a different way of thinking about reading an article. Thank you and have a great day.